let's start talking about Ace's TheRapl against Keen Ulysses. We already mentioned before our little soup break that Rapple. Okay, actually, here's what it is, soup. Rapple and Ulysses, they're longtime AOM players, right? At least in the competitive scene. Over the past over the past 3 years, they've really hit both of them have hit the competitive scene and are both top players. Obviously, they're here in the quarterfinals. They've played against each other plenty. Is it a grudge match per se? No, but we can maybe pretend because it'd be kind of funny to start some drama there where there is none. But anyways, on top of that, between Rapple and Ulysses, they've played against each other a lot, sure, but also Aces against Keen. So Aces is one of those. It's the war. In fact, hey, soup.
Hello.
The Warcraft team that expanded into AOM and picked up a couple of pro players. Yes, does that ring a bell for you
Oh
as
yeah.
a fellow Aces player?
No, but Keen, dude. When Retold started, it was JSS big team, and then Keen big team, and then we had some other lots of esports actions back and forth, and now obviously most JSS are now in Aces, and that's really cool. I do think that Keen is such a cool clan though, so I wish them nothing but the best.
Well, we're going to see who is the best. We're about to have one of the best games we've seen in a while. We have Odin against Thor on Marsh. We haven't talked about the draft just yet, but it's going to be a good one. Starting off with some Norse action. Spawning in the blue color, we have TheRapl. Aces, TheRapl, playing Odin, bottom right side of the map. Excuse me. Up on the top left, we have Keen Ulysses going for the dwarf armory build. Remember, Soup, I haven't gotten it out yet, but I just have to get it out. Let me get it out.
Go
Because
ahead.
there's been a recent patch, right? There's been a recent patch, and there's a couple of complications on the patch regarding spectator mode. So we're going to be playing for the day. We're going to be, at least the day, probably tomorrow as well. We're going to be playing on the previous patch, which means that Thor is still OP. The armory is still cheaper, etc., etc. So this is the Thor build order that you're used to seeing, folks.
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually a really cool matchup here against the Odin because I've seen Rebel play this exact matchup, maybe not Morris, but a Odin versus Thor matchup. And I know what he likes to do here, and I'm pretty sure Ulysses knows what Rebel likes to do here. So I'll just come out and say it. What Rebel usually does is a 2 TC boom, because when you're doing the Thor armory build, usually it's a lot more difficult for you to transfer that into a 2 TC build than it is for Odin if you're just going directly for it. So the dynamic here will be, does Ulysses decide to go on 1 TC versus Rebel's 2 town centers and then eventually will be outboomed, or does he decide to get a second TC of his own? And I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out. I could be wrong. Maybe Rebel just decides to go 1 TC as well. I really don't know what to expect here.
Well, if you look on I think there's maybe some validity to the 2TC idea. If we jump over to Rapples, the blue side of the map, that second town center on the back side, there's a delicious gold mine back behind there. So the second town center, it's still far away, but still TC. There's a couple of cranes over there for him to eat, hunt wise. And then that gold mine back behind.
Be
So there are
honest,
some resources.
it's not
Right?
a great town center though. Like
Not great, but it's not bad.
what you really want is hunt, and on Marsh you could expect better from your secondary TC than that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe Rebel could go for something like get 10 military units out and then go for a middle town center. Maybe that would be a sick play. But I really don't like that town center to the right. Looking at the relics here, we got the Cathara Apollo, we got the Myth units more resistant to pierce damage, useless in a Norse mirror. Got Pandora's box can be 20% less favor for Myth units, can be very decisive here. Feathers of Fenrir, kind of good on Mars against aggressive animals. And we got Heron's Obel, it's decent enough, not a great relic. And lastly, didn't get to see the one in the middle, the one before this, that one. What is this? Hero regeneration while fighting. Not good in a Norse mirror. Hearses, generally speaking. Yeah, dude. Hearses, they
But
go
there's
down.
Goaty too.
Oh, 337. Wow. What is
Are
this?
you?
No, wait. What did you say?
Soup's on a different level, everybody. We got actually okay. Ignore the relics. Let's get into the classical age, man. Herser are coming out, and we see Rapple with a 350 4-minute advance, and then we got Ulysses got about a 430 and change advance. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Rapple, does it look like he's going for a town center? He's got that Herser going forward.
He's
There you go.
going for it. He's going for it.
Mm,
So he's going for that
fast
TC,
advance.
and yeah, it's like I said, it's a risky play to go for this TC because it's just not great. But yeah, we'll see how it plays. There are 4 orcs there. That's with the Great Hunt used on it. He saved
Yeah.
Great Hunt for Classical Age, so he got an additional 1,000 food there, and the TC has begun building now.
There she blows. Let's see what this Valkyrie can find. It's Valkyrie against Valkyrie, so there shouldn't
Usually,
really be damage here.
Usually it's nice to be on the aggressive. I would much rather prefer to have my Valkyrie in my opponent's base than the opposite, because you get to use Forest Fire where it really deals damage. And I mean, this is nice for Ulysses, getting this retribution damage here and without actually taking damage himself. He did have to move his villagers from the wood slightly, but it doesn't really matter too much. It's a good defense here from Ulysses. One big issue for Ulysses is he's completely blind. Maybe you can see from his perspective, but I don't expect him to have much scouted around the map at all. And certainly yeah, dude, look at this. This is just Thor. He's got no clue that Rebel is well. He doesn't even know what his base looks like, and he has no clue
Yeah.
that he's building a second CC now.
But that's kind of the point, though. He's ahead by 4 villagers already, and so you have to sacrifice the line of sight and the scouting in order to just get that eco advantage. So I mean, it's a nice advantage. Thor's strong, by all means.
What you can
Still.
do, and what a lot of players do tend to go for in a lot of matchups, is that second berserk just before you hit your advance button, and then that second berserk will be your dedicated scout basically. And especially in a matchup like this, use that dedicated scout to look for the second TC, so you know what your opponent is up to.
Yeah. Scouting's so crucial, man. So crucial. Knowledge is power, right? Stay in school, kids.
Actually,
Well,
Ulysses, he's got his raiding cavalry and his Valkyrie here. So even though he doesn't have much of a clue what's going on, it's not going to take him too long before, yeah, already now doing a great raid here, and he's getting more and more information as this game progresses.
it's kind of an accidental raid that he just, fortuitously happened upon right there. Nice.
Second TC, is it up now? It must be up now. Yeah. Because we already see, look at the villager count, it's already now about, 28 to 28, 29. We actually see Rebel ahead now already. So this is the danger for Ulysses. He still doesn't know about the second TC. I think he may be about to know with a scout up in the right side there. Yes, a cavalry.
They have bad line of sight, though, so he might get distracted by those. Ooh, okay, there we go.
All
Never mind.
right. So what Ulysses does now, he knows what
Ooh.
now Ulysses knows what's up. He knows that he's got to do some damage. I love this forest fire opening up the map here, making it a lot more difficult for Rebel to defend around this area, which is so crucial.
Well, plus, like you said, there's not a lot of good hunt options around that second town center. There's that delicious gold mine behind it, but
So
he wants that hunt right now.
What Ulysses got to do now, I would hate to see him go for a second TC. That's a mistake that some inexperienced Thor players would do, is go for a second TC here. But what you got to do is you got to spam units, and you got to do exactly what Ulysses does here. He is forcing Rebel's villagers to go idle by going back and forth from this spot. And Rebel, he's struggling for hunt, and he doesn't know where to get it.
Indeed. By all means, those Aurochs, those 4 Aurochs down on the bottom side, he can jump back over to those, but still,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. There he goes. Look at all those bills on those puppies.
Yeah, I mean Ulysses, he's doing what he's supposed to do here. But look, 7 villager difference now in favor for Rebel. It's so crazy what you get with the second TC here.
But if they're idle, Soup, it just doesn't even matter, man. It's just wasted resources. Taking a fight in here.
Crazy fight to take. I like it from Ulysses. He's supposed to win this theoretically, so I like the idea.
He's even got. Isn't he too deep? He even has throwing axeman in the backside of Rapple's base, dude.
I think now that the tower upgrade just got in, you can definitely make the argument that he's in too deep, but it's kind of cool what he's doing here still.
Oh, with Soup's in. Soup's all about it, folks. Soup's all about it. Was it worth it, though? He just lost a lot of units himself, man.
No, it was too deep. In hindsight, it was too deep. You see RaPl getting so much retribution damage here. Ulysses is forced to retreat, and as he's retreating, the raiding cavalry are just continually hitting the throwing axemen.
Ooh. There's a lot of vills running it. Dude, like I said, you see those villagers that are just walking? There we go. They're walking around the map, yo. Yes, Ulysses lost a lot of army there. He did a lot of damage at the same time. However, killed lots of units, lots of idle eco time, etc., etc. So not too bad, man. Not too bad. Pretty good, even.
So one thing to look out for now is the food situation for RaPl. He's still got those berries left. There's still chicken, and he's on his herdables right now. But at some point, that's probably what Ulysses is looking for now. At some point, he'll have to look for the center of the map. And the issue is, after this pretty bad scenario here for Ulysses, I imagine that RaPl will be able to accumulate a very nice army come the time.
Well, but hang on. So you're talking about how the right play is to go aggressive for Ulysses. You don't try to match the double town center. You try to go aggressive. You get map control. You idle the eco, take good fights. Blah 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 blah. You try to go for the military advantage, right? On top of the military advantage, remember, RaPl doesn't have the map control for food, whereas Ulysses, he's still hunting, and if he really wanted to, he could go for multiple hunting parties, because RaPl doesn't have the map control. Yeah, look at all those dwarvies going to town, baby.
Oh,
So
he's
that's
going for the TC now. Oh my god. Yeah, this I don't like this, but we'll see though. Like you see, look at the villager difference now. It's 15, and now Ulysses is pretty. What he's saying, getting the second TC is, all right, let's have a boom war. And when you're down 15 villagers, that's not what you want to say. This is such an amazing skirmish here for RaPl. He's got full cavalry against this many throwing axemen. And throwing axemen are just, first of all, dying really quickly here, and second of all, barely dealing damage to the throwing axemen, to the raiding cavalry.
I think, by the way, first of all, we have Shield Maiden. What is the? No, Shield Maiden Valkyrie. They changed the name of the upgrade. It used to be Aurora Borealis. What's it called now?
These are blood. These are blood. I don't know how to pronounce it actually properly, but it's called These are blood now.
You're our resident Viking. Of all people, you said Disa blood. Okay. Say it with your Danish accent. Come on. Let's hear it.
These are blood. These are blood. Yeah, I don't know.
Blood. That's how I want to hear it. These are blood. These are blood.
Game has turned into cavalry wars now, as Norse mirrors tend to do sometimes. And Thornton Hooves are in for Ulysses. Well, it's getting in, but we see Skadi coming in for RaPl.
What's the point of that? What's the point of Scotty? Is he gonna go for like a unit switch? Is he gonna jump into Goaty? Is he gonna try and drop I don't know, like infantry? I mean,
well, his Odin, so the alternative is Njord, and you could ask the same question about Njord. What's the purpose of that? I think it's just Frost, potentially a very strong, powerful god power here. It's a good little action here from Ulysses, forcing a lot of idle time here. Could potentially be a good fight. Like, the issue is, really good Frost Giant special attack onto a Valkyrie here. Those Valkyries are insanely strong now, so being able to target them down one by one like this is very good.
Speaking of advantages of Scotty, man, instead of just using a god power, RaPl already has the heavy raiding cavalry upgrade, rather. I believe he also has Thundering Hooves. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think I saw Thundering Hooves come in for Blue's cavalry. Bam, there she blows. Okay, so both players gonna have that strong cavalry, but Ulysses is Thor, so he has the armory upgrades as well.
You asked about Skadi. We see RaPl getting the throwing axeman upgrade now, which makes throwing axemen always hit their target. And it's really, really nice in a Norse mirror to have that, because it means that mid to late game you can just make like so many throwing axemen and they're really good. But here's a big fight.
A couple of big fights. Is it gonna? I mean, you would argue that it's gonna be better for RAPL here because he's the one with the Huntress Axe coming in, plus the heavy raiding cavalry. There we go, the picture-in-picture, baby. Look at that. We can even zoom in on both spots. It's amazing. Who's
The
taking this
heavy
fight though,
cavalry
Soup?
upgrade is the big one here. That's the big
Yes.
upgrade that makes the difference here. And I do believe Rebel is kind of winning here. Throwing X-Men for Ulysses, trying to snipe down the backline, but Rebel takes it.
Ooh, I think that was a bad fight for Ulysses to take, man. With the heavy raiding cavalry, I think he should have backed off and at least taken the fight under his forward town center, right?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know how this even happened, but sometimes these skirmishes happen, and before you know it, you find yourself in a full-blown fight. And you think back, how did I
Mm.
get here? But yeah, it's happened sometimes.
Well, so ultimately, good call on the second town center acquisition of RAPL. He goes for it right away, and he gets pressured a little bit. Ulysses had nice pressure, but even so, you can see all resources collected. I mean, they kind of alternated with who had the better economy, but for the most part, they ended up in the same place, economically
Yeah,
speaking. Yes.
but like, yeah, this graph shows that they had the same economy, but the thing in both players' minds throughout this game was that Rebel has got the more villagers. You see the civilian units here. So
Mm.
even though that other graph was like that, it meant that Ulysses always had constant pressure on him to do something this game. And that's not what he wanted to like. You don't want to be under this kind of pressure if you where you have to do damage basically, because then you find yourself in a fight like he did underneath the town center and two towers and even villagers fighting against it, where he was forced to take a really bad fight there basically.
Well, even so, do you think instead of Ulysses going for the forward town center, just trying to jump heroic, one
Yeah,
TC heroic
yeah,
possibly
like I said,
as an alternative?
I really didn't like that second TC grab from Ulysses. It's just playing into your opponent's strengths where you're already behind 15 villagers. You don't want to be engaging yourself in a boom war against someone with 15 more vills. So what you should have done is just say, all right, I already committed to the one TC play, so we're gonna make this work one way or another.
Even so, but having said that, I think it would have been hard because I know his scouting was it wasn't bad per se, but he's Thor. He just didn't have a lot of scouting in general. He didn't see the gold mine options over by that town center. I think it would have been hard to really close out the game. Speaking of closing out the game, here we see the closeout of the game.
Yeah, and we see, I
the
think if we just compare the villager numbers here, I think they're about the same. You do see that reflected in the stat up in the top here. But
Yeah,
then the big difference is the fact that, like I said, heavy cavalry on one side, such
yeah.
a big upgrade, and it matters so much in a mirror matchup in particular.
Well, by all means, Ulysses has the armory upgrades. Remember, he has those copper armory upgrades as the Thor player, which gave him that early dwarf advantage, right? But still, what would you rather have? Full copper or, a line upgrade ahead? Heavy versus medium or full copper?
Yeah, no, if you're asking me genuinely, I would much rather have line upgrades. In
Yeah, yeah,
Age of
exactly.
Mythology, line upgrades are far superior to armory upgrades. And
Yep.
the first line of armory upgrades are really cheap, so most of the times you should get those eventually. But other than that, just focus. If you want to upgrade your military, you got to get those line upgrades. And sure, if you're against, say, Hades player building only Toxotes, yeah, probably get some shield upgrades. But most scenarios, just get the line upgrades.
Lineups, maybe they're king.
Let's talk about
Speaking of king,
can we talk about the draft here quickly? We haven't gone into
yeah,
that at all. So
yeah.
Ulysses, he's got Uranus now. He's got Frey, Zeus, Kronos. Only one Greek on the side of Ulysses, whereas Rebel has Loki, Poseidon, Hades, Ra. What do you like here?
I think I prefer, well, Rapples, I think I prefer Rapples picks. Maybe that's just my bias, but I think it kind of plays a little bit more into his strengths. Like Kronos has not had success at all this tournament, dude. I'm
Yeah.
sketched
that-
out on the Kronos pick.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. But it is a last pick, so he picked Kronos instead of who in exactly maybe Set. Like he's probably there. He has to pick Kronos or Set. He
yeah,
goes for Kronos.
I guess. Even so, Freyr, like he picked, dude. Ulysses even picked Freyr before Zeus. Ulysses used to be a Zeus main, straight up, man. I know it's a different game. Retold is a different game by all means, but still, we're gonna see Poseidon against Aranos on
Yeah,
Savannah here in game
and
number 2.
yeah, Ulysses had the option to pick Hades and Poseidon as well if he wanted to, but he just opted out against it. He wants Thor, Uranus, Frey above the Greeks. So I guess Ulysses is not much of a Greek main anymore.
Huh, indeed.
I have
Well,
seen
okay.
whenever he streams, he does tend to play a lot of Norse. I've seen him play a lot of Odin, for example.
Indeed. Alrighty, folks, game number 2. Rappel had a nice little victory from that Marsh game. Let's see if he can continue his momentum. He is in the blue left side of the map, playing Poseidonas, playing Poseidon. Nice forward lure over on the red side. Ulysses AOT, looking A-OK with those zebras. Playing the red, playing Aranos. Well, okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritties. Poseidon against Aranos here. We generally know what Aranos is going to go for, or rather, what to be afraid of. If you're playing against Aranos, you gotta look out for those shockwave usages. One of the main things you want to do is really limit those oracle numbers, so that it's almost like you're raiding the favor economy of the Aranos player, right? Want to
Yeah,
try and prevent those shockwave numbers, eventually the chaos uses, myth units, that sort of thing, right?
yeah, for sure. But something that really smart Uranus players have started doing recently is they will place maybe 2 or 3 oracles inside their base, and then if they want to expand their economy with further more oracles, they will place them where there are already sky passages. And that
Mm,
means that you can have, in theory, 5 oracles in total security, 3 in your base and 2 in your outside sky passages, and 5 oracles, that are pretty much unraidable. That's all you need in order to spam those god powers whenever there is a skirmish.
hmm And also, speaking of sky passages, again, we're playing on the stable patch, which means those sky passages are still ultra cheap and very very spammable, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. And this is Savannah, where sky passages really shine because you see a hunting spot like the one we're looking at here. Giraffes, zebra, berries out on the side. Can be really hard to get to if you don't have those sky passages. But when you do, you can just send one citizen there and these rhinos in the corner here. You
Oh,
can never get to these. If you don't have sky passages, it's way too risky to go there. But with
yeah.
sky passages, dude, you can get both of these 2 rhino packs very
Oh yeah,
easily.
both of them. Someone
Yeah,
is a
why not?
greedy guy. Jeez.
I want both.
I want everything. Hermes coming in to
It's a
start for
330
Rappel.
Poseidon Hermes. It's as old as time at this point.
Okay. Having said that, with the okay, we're gonna see Centaur coming out. We're gonna see Theseus, probably. What's her bucket? Atlanta coming out as well. There we see. Okay, we see the oracles not necessarily getting placed in the base, but still they're placed strategically around the map. I want to, and he's going to find those delicious rhinos here on both corners here in a moment. Real quick, I want to eventually go over to the gold mine of Ulysses. If Rappel can start the aggression early, what kind of pressure can he put on this base? There's forward berries. There's a maybe harassable gold mine right there. And of course, you're going to be looking for sky passages and food around the map, of course. But after that, if Rappel can contain Ulysses into his base, I think there's a lot of exposed resources that he can potentially hit with that faster advantage.
Yeah, um, he can definitely hit the gold mine.
Mm,
Something Ulysses can do is he can also place sky passages smartly around gold, not only food but also gold, which will really complicate things. But we do see just instant stable from Rebel, suggesting
yeah.
no boom, it's just full on aggression. And this is nice because the sky passages are quite tanky. I think the 500 HP. So if you don't have those hippies, you're not going to be able to take those down without the
Yeah,
the horses there. So I do like that from Rebel. Try to get map control and use those hippies to take down outside sky passages.
for sure.
And then, if he manages to do all that, he can really start pressuring the forward gold here, like you suggested.
And it looks like that Centaur is maybe going to get a special attack on the gold mine right away.
Yeah,
Nice. A little bit
and
of
this is
idle
all you
time.
need. Idle time on the citizens here. So awkward. He's even killing a goat here. He didn't want to do that, and this doesn't look like much, but just count the idle seconds here and convert that into resources. Every second pretty much is 1.5 seconds, and this is so annoying from Ulysses. Oh my god.
Uh, Dude, he's getting hit on both spots, man. Gold mine and over on the food patch down yonder. Forced to back off with the centaur, but still damage done. Not a ton of damage, but hey, man, it's a game of inches up at the top, huh?
Hero catapulties in from Ulysses. I love that because hero catapulties, not only are they super
Mm.
fast, they are also good against obviously centaurs, but heaviest as well. And versus heroes, you just gotta move away if you're against them. But if you can
Yeah,
just have three of those hero catapulties out, dude, you can fight against most Poseidon armies early on.
for sure,
And
for
yeah,
sure.
Ulysses being annoying here. He's back onto that sky passage down the bottom. This is why I said you need Hibius out so you can take care of those sky passages. Really good raid here from Rattle, realizing that you gotta hit those oracles from the Poseidon player.
Is it a really good raid for Rapple? Maybe it's a good raid for Ulysses, raiding the army of Rapple right there, but Rapple getting some almost catches an oracle on that food patch down yonder. Man, the sky pass is just so annoying.
There's
I
only
mean,
one though for
awesome.
Ulysses. Ulysses only managed to put up one. He could have,
True.
he could have snuck a villager up on the top where those four rhinos are, for example. Had he done that, that would have been so annoying. But good job here from Rebel. Putting on the pressure, managing to do all of this damage, and still getting a TC up, starting around the 6 minute mark. Really well done, I think.
I agree, Soup. I very much agree. He's done good eco pressure. Not a lot of, death and killed citizens per se. But again, it's a game of inches. Rap is all about that inches up top. And so just getting that idle time, that's what, that's a successful raid. Couple of, yeah, man, Eye of Ornlu, a couple of good relics coming in here for our red player. Here's the thing though, Soup. Here's my question for you. Yes, Rapple's got he's got some nice damage. He's playing pretty smoothly. He's got that second TC going up. On his second TC, there's even some hunt nearby. But at the same time, we have weightless mace coming in that we just saw. We have a decent number of infantry. We've seen several upgrades come in for these infantry and medium queued as well. Is Rapple going to get himself into a little bit of a pickle if he tries to go too eco focused?
Yeah, so this all depends on how well Ulysses scouts. He hasn't even seen that second TC yet. Still hasn't
True.
seen it. So what Ulysses needs to do, first of all, is to realize that there's a 2 TC boom going, and then he has to cover those gazelles like he's doing right now. He has to cover all the resources spread around the map. And then, like you said, that second TC can be more so a source of trouble than goodness. This is a
Yes. Speaking of goodness soup, it is very goodness for Ulysses. He picked off a couple of hippias, one or two hippies, hippiaceses, hippiaces, plus a
you know,
centaur as well, man.
the weightless mace, like you just mentioned, that just kicked in, was so big
Mm.
there.
Oh, brutal, brutal,
But he's not
brutal.
covering the gazelles now. I think that's like the number one priority now. Just don't let Rebel get hunt outside where it's unsafe. You cannot let the Poseidon player do this now. You need to force Rebel to make a farm transition.
Mm.
Because if it's just 2-to-1 town centers and you're still allowing Rebel to hunt freely outside of this space here, you're not doing it right.
Indeed. Indeed. I like the, but what do you think about that hoplite switch, man? Hoplites definitely won't get countered by catapulties.
Yeah,
So,
it's a really sick play from Rebel because he could, like, you see Catapultis. What counters Catapultis? It's Toxotes. But
mm,
if Rebel went for Toxotes, it's so easy for Ulysses to just say, all right, I'm going to counter that with Termas. But Rebel says, I'm going to make hoplites to counter it. And hoplites are not nearly as easy for Ulysses to counter. So I love that hoplite play from Rebel.
sure. Speaking of countering, he's going to try and counter the 2TC acquisition of Rapple with his own second town center that we saw just a moment ago. There's another sky passage thinking about being constructed. So we're going to be on 2 TCs for both players. You're absolutely right about this. Man, Rapple's been able to hunt most of this gazelle patch right here. And we see a
Yeah.
couple of farms just coming in now. So I think that, I don't know. I think that the catapulties forcing that hoplite transition, Poseidon hoplites are not the strongest thing in the world, especially since he went up through Hermes. They still can be complicated for Aranos to try and counter in the classical age by all means. It's not the scariest thing in the world in my opinion. despite that, I think Rapple's economy, I think he's macroing pretty darn well, man. If you look at his resources, he's just around the corner from a heroic age click up. He's already got, there it is, Aphrodite pre-queued, There She Blows. We got some farms already coming in. We got military academies. We just have, I don't know. This is really smooth play, is kind of what I'm saying from
Yeah,
Rapple. It's like a smooth cigar.
I think for Ulysses, one option that's available to him that he's not really utilizing here is grabbing those corners with the rhinos and with the gold mines and just, securing corners in general is really nice. But he's not taking advantage of the fact that he's got map control. He could just delete his 2 sky passage out on the map and then put them in the corners like we talked about from the beginning, how high value that would be. But now that he has map control, he's not really taking advantage of it, which is a bit unfortunate.
Well, I mean, I agree. I mean, that's potentially 8 total rhinos that he could take. And I'm pretty sure he knows about all 8 of them. We saw the Oracle up there earlier. I think there's a unit down there below as well. Yeah. Oh, soup. Somebody called it. Going for the rhinos.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, he's just doing it manually, the old-fashioned way, without sky passages.
The old school is the best school, right, soup?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
no school like the old school. That's what I always say.
All right, by the way, both Thea and Aphrodite coming in, okay? So both players up heroic now. We got a curse, we got Hesperides, and there is the curse, actually.
Just using it. Why wait?
Well, I love that, man, because Ulysses does not have a large amount of army on the map, and so he just deleted like 2/3 of the army just like that.
Yep.
Let's see if he can take advantage of it, but still, there's some time, some room here for Rapple to reclaim the initiative, the map control.
Also, the pigs. Don't underestimate the fact that you get these pigs. You see Rebel already doing the farm transition. If you can get those pigs, let them fatten for a minute or two, you can definitely delay that farm transition by, a few minutes, which can really add up in a tight clutch game like this.
Oh yeah, it's all about inches.
So,
Or I'm sorry,
Poseidon's
centimeters.
Poseidon's Secret and Lands of Stone coming in versus full hoplites. It's a ballsy play, kind of predicting, hopefully, that Rebel is not going to go full hoplites.
Well, plus he also has heavy cavalry also queued up there. So those Contarius are going to be pretty beastly. But here's the thing, though, Soup. Remember, they're Poseidon hoplites. So sure, they're heavy, but they're not very fast. Remember, Zeus gets a little bit of a speed boost for his hoplites. They're not very fast. So because Savannah is such an open map, yes, the hoplites do, technically counter the Contarius, but they're going to be very upgraded, and they have the mobility. There is kind of a hidden silver lining benefit bonus, if you will, of going for those for the Contarius, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I like it. It's also just playing into your god strength. Definitely when you go for Thea, and you could even argue when you're playing Uranus in general, just you gotta utilize those Contarius because they are probably probably the best unit that the Atlantean has, and especially
we
when you
go.
back this to Thea. Yeah, beautiful. And this is, yeah, like you said, these are so fast and they deal so much damage. It takes like 5 hits to kill one of these vills. Beautiful.
Does Rap? I can't shoot. What's the? It's not hunting dogs. It's what's the upgrade to make them a little bit stronger? Help me out, Soup. It's in the heroic age.
I don't know. Beautiful play here from Ulysses. Taking down a lion for free.
That's big.
Now,
Ooh, carnivore as well.
taking the fight even further.
This is huge for Ulysses, is it not? He picks off a lion. He should pick off a couple of other, like the centaur.
I think this is huge.
Picking off.
Whoa. Dude, these Contarius are so strong, and Ulysses making it work so well here.
This is, I mean, sure, Rapple has to get out of dodge, but seriously, he's getting followed by this army. There's Arcus, those things are snipers. That's one way to counter the hoplites. Dryads, Stinkbirds, etc.
You called it, utilizing the mobility of the Contarius, first of all, to get that raid in, then forcing Rebel to go for an aggressive play, because if he just chases the Contarius around, that's not going to work. And then Ulysses managing to get those Contarius back and really just pinching Rebel's army in and engaging in a skirmish that he had no wish to ever engaging if he had a choice. But beautiful, beautiful play here from Ulysses, really utilizing the maneuverability of his units to the full extent here.
Absolutely. He's feeling confident, man. He's liking his position. He's starting to push forward bigly here. There's a fortress there. I'm not so sure. Ooh, we have a little bit of a military bug up in that UI. Don't pay attention to that. He does have a big army, but it's not that big. Okay, how good are these Quintarius, man, against the heavy hoplites? How good are these Quintarius with the snipers behind him?
It's crazy. It's a full hoplite versus like 2/3 Quintarius, but Ulysses still feeling very, very confident.
I don't know.
I'll take the fight on the fortress even. Now he's forced to retreat. It's too much. He bit off more than he could chew.
Hubris, man. The hubris of the Greeks. You hear me, Greeks? The hubris of the Greeks. And
Well,
bam.
of the, what is he? Isn't he? Wait, he's from Peru or Chile? Chile, right?
Yeah, but he's playing Poseidon. Poseidon, the Greek. Come on.
Okay.
Come on,
Okay.
Soup. Come on.
Yeah.
That was a. I'm not gonna say that was a throw, but I think that was definitely a little bit digging a little bit too deep into the mine, so to speak, a little too deep in his pockets, trying
I
to go
think
for
Ulysses
that.
realizes this now. Says, okay, I'm gonna take fights other places than where the hoplites are. That was too much.
Yeah, mobility, man. Use that mobility. There's a lot of soft vills that he can harass.
Look at his economy. He's got 1,600 food, 500 gold as well. He could wait. That Rebel has got this much food and this much gold. He's probably looking to go Artemis and make a big play somewhere, I imagine.
Oh man, look, it's Hecate! Ikati, however you say it. That's the first time in fact, maybe not the first time. I haven't seen Hecate come in I don't even know how long.
What
Long
is
has
that
it
Hecate
been?
even for? Is it like because like the other alternative with Uranus, obviously it's just the vortex, which is not really giving you much in terms of fighting prowess. So I
Yeah.
think what Ulysses is saying is just okay. The Tartarian Gate, a bit underexplored. We don't really know the power level of it, but at the very least, it can take down buildings. It can be super annoying with those Tartarian spawns in your base.
Well, and we see Artemis is also coming in. So TheRapl took a bad fight that we were boasting about, but at the same time, Ulysses going hard under that fortress, and that kind of allowed TheRapl to come back a little bit, as we see a third TC coming up for both players actually. So Artemis is coming in, and Tartarian Gate, or rather Hecate, is coming in. However you say it. Ooh, okay.
Dude, this is how Ulysses has to play. Really,
Exactly.
just utilize the mobility of these, and he manages to consistently find Rebel out of position.
Very nice. Okay, so the hoplites are back there in defense. But real quick, aside from, and we're gonna maybe have a raid. There we go. More idle time at the very least, if not dead vills. But at the same time, the Tartarian Gate, he can use the Tartarian Gate somewhere to distract or force a reaction from TheRapl. That's like the quintessential play of a Tartarian Gate. Use it at the back of a base, attack on the front, that sort of thing. So this might give Ulysses good timing.
Remember, Rebel is playing Poseidon, so when he hits Mythic Age, which he is about to do soon, he gets access to Polyphemus, who has very nice crush damage and who can easily sustain the onslaught of the Tartarian spawn, so he can take down the Tartarian Gate. We'll see how that happens. I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite effective.
Yeah, that's a very good point. There's still about 30 to 20 seconds before Artemis is coming in as well. Looks like he's looking for the Tart Gate, and there she blows.
Hitting the temple to, I think Ulysses knew that Rebel was about to hit the Mythic Age as well, so he's hitting the temple in order to stop the Chimera from coming out. Or the Colossus.
True.
Look at the animation of these units when they're getting out.
And there he goes. He's trying to hit the front side while Tartarying on the back side. Are we going to see maybe this does delay the earthquake from being used, Soup, which is really nice for Ulysses.
Yeah, and the Pegasus died.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, no, the Arcus are out now, meaning these hoplites, actually when they can get into melee, I think they're quite good. There's the earthquake. Taking down a town center, nothing more than that. We'll see if it even takes down a town center. Ulysses can repair this. The citizens
It should go down, right?
Oh my god, it does.
What? Oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh no! Tartarian Gate is down, mitigated completely. The earthquake's done, mitigated by, itself. So the Mythic God Power's not really power swinging much at all. This is just kind of a straight up fight now.
Look at Rebel's gold. He's struggling really hard to get any gold. He doesn't have anything in his bank right now, and just before, at least, these Quintarius were covering the gold mine as well. Just look like
True.
Rebel has gold miners again, but yeah, they're being attacked as well. And he's losing out here with the big golden horses just prevailing everywhere. There's so
Mobility,
strong.
man.
Yeah.
Hoplites counter cavalry, but they're not as fast. He's using his mobility and he's killing quite a few vills, man. Ahead by just about 20. Stopping that gold income, exactly like what you said. Dude, not too bad for Ulysses. But he needs to find a way to really put the nail in the coffin, right? I think that this might be it. He doesn't
Yo,
really
the
have siege
Lampage.
push, is what I'm saying.
You see the chaos on one of these chimeras? That's actually a sick counter. The Lampage does the special attack onto the chimera, and then if the
Yeah.
chimera hasn't used its special attack, it's going to be using it on Rebel's army instead. So that's
Yes.
definitely something for both players to look out for here. Try to micro your way around that.
Very, very true. It's going to take some time for him to be able to reuse it. However, in the meantime, we got the Batmobile going after the fortress. I said there wasn't siege output, Soup, but Ulysses is way ahead of me. It's only one fire siphon, but still, it might be enough to take out this fortress. Once this fortress is down, dude, Ulysses can maybe just go for the straight-up gold start.
Yeah, just remember there's like 8, 10 militia, however many coming out of the fortress here. One of the most underrated aspects of Poseidon, the defensive capabilities of those militia here. But yeah,
I don't think it's
gold
enough,
mine.
Soup.
Oh my god. The Lampades over on the left side managing to take down one Chimera there. I think a lot of action went down with the Chaos as well, but
Yes.
there were 3 Chimeras before. Did they all go down, or did Rebel go raiding with them now, or... I don't even know. They're not here. But yeah, the gold mine is being attacked. Rebel is struggling mightily.
Indeed. TheRapl had a nice game 1. It looks like Ulysses wants to fight back and come back into this series, man. We're close to having a 1-1 on our hands. Let's see if TheRapl can hold here. There's a Carnivora trying to finish things off on this gold mine. Yo, this gold mine is the game. TheRapl either gets gold or he's out of here, man.
Rebel is under so much pressure, but somehow he's still 91 villagers. So if he can defend himself here, which it does seem like it's a real struggle for him, but you know, there's a way back for him if he can defend himself. The Dryad is starting to come in. There's so many. Oh my god.
Nice, Ulysses, man. The spam is real. The spam is real. Holy moly.
What a game here. I honestly, up until the last minute or so, I never knew who was going to win here. I thought for a second Rebel looked really strong, but then the Tartarian Gate and the constant skirmishes around the map with the Contarius against the super slow hoplites, like you mentioned, just too much for Rebel to keep up with.
Well, I think what really made a difference is that the Mythic God powers kind of not canceled each other out, but they weren't game ending or anything like that. But once TheRapl got his 3rd town center up, if you remember, we saw Contarius out raiding. Contarius were trying to hit the TC, but he managed to get that forward TC up regardless. TheRapl had almost exclusively an army full of hoplites. And there was enough counter units in Ulysses' army. He had the Arcus snipers, Stimpbird, Dryad, etc., etc. He had enough counter infantry that it seemed like the hoplite spam just wasn't quite enough. At least not Poseidon hoplites, right?
Yeah, but this, to be fair, this is a struggle as Greek versus Uranus. Like, what units do you actually go for? It is really, really hard. The Orcus, the Contarius, it's a great unit composition, and Greeks in particular, I found it's a real struggle figuring out what units to build.
Sure. Indeed. It seems like the time, I mean, like villager numbers, they were both kind of getting some raids on each other. TheRapl early and then Ulysses a little bit later. Seems like their resources were, pretty similar. How about actually, Vodka, could you click the military tab for me real quick on the statistics? We'll get there in just a second. I mean,
This
you can
is
see right
military
there.
resource value, but oh yeah, this
There
one.
we go. I want to see the kill-death ratio. Ulysses killed. Remember, the Greek units are pretty expensive, man. Hoplites are not the most expensive things in the world, but still, 161 to 125. That's a big KD difference there, man. Big KD
Yeah,
difference.
wow, it is actually. Maybe militia counting here. Maybe that makes a
Hmm.
difference, but yeah. These
Villagers killed, yo. 59 villagers killed, baby.
the heck. Oh my god. You said raids on both sides, but in the end, 1 villager kill for Rebel versus 59 for Ulysses.
That was a fun game, man. Again, I think that how Rapple played that in Classical Age was great, and then how Ulysses played in Heroic was great. We saw both players using mobility at different points in the game. Right? There's Fast Atlanta, Hippias, Centaurs. For Rapple in the Classical Age, he's hitting gold, he's hitting wood, he's hitting food, sky passages, etc. On both sides. It was awesome. But then eventually, once those Cantarius come into play, he gets those upgrades coming in. Oh boy, then Ulysses. Then after that, it was basically just a flip flop. Actually, then Rappa went for the infantry, the hoplites, and then it was the Cantarius that were completely abusing and harassing.
Yeah, and this is Savannah. Like this is a beautiful Savannah game actually. The big, wide, open, raidable map, and yeah, this cookie cutter game on Savannah. This is what we like to see on this particular map. So
Mm.
very lovely to see. Now, next game we're going to see Ghost Lake. Very cool map that we haven't seen too much of in Retold because it hasn't been in the ranked ladder. But obviously we've seen it a lot in tournament play, and it's going to be Loki versus Kronos.
Okay,
Unexpected Kronos pick on Ghost Lake. How do you like it?
I don't. I maybe I do. I don't. I don't know. So here's the thing. A I have a bias against Kronos because throughout this Genesis tourney, we've just seen Kronos lose, 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 lose. Okay, so I have a little bit of a bias against Kronos. It's just not feeling like a strong pick for me. That's one. Two, it's his last pick, Ulysses' last pick. Okay. Three, Ghost Lake. You can maybe get either a 2 gold mine spawn in your base or a 1 gold mine spawn. So if he gets two, if Rapple gets two, Kronos is not as strong, man, because if one of the things you try and pressure with some early aggression is gold mines, hunt patches, that sort of thing. So if Rappo can get a lot of goats and if he can get 2 gold mines, he's chilling. After that, what do you do? Do you fake the rush and go for a TC? That's what a lot of players have been going for with Kronos. It doesn't really seem to be working, however.
Yeah, I think my guess is Ulysses was hoping to find a Kronos versus Hades matchup here.
Huh.
Because that would probably be a good matchup for Kronos. I found a lot of success just spamming Prometheans versus Greeks on Ghost Lake. The big open space in the middle makes it very easy for you to maneuver from side to side. And with just 2 Greek heroes to deal with all those Prometheans that you can get out with Kronos, that can be difficult. But I think also maybe Rebel smelled it coming. He knows that the Kronos pick is there, and I guess he was just saying, "All right, I'm not going to pick Hades here. Then I'm going to pick Loki."
Well,
And Loki versus Kronos, I like that a lot here.
for which? For
Loki for
which?
Loki.
For Loki. Okay. Well, okay, so you said that Rapple smelled the Kronos pick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, if you look at the three potential remaining picks for Ulysses, it's Freyr, Zeus, or Kronos. You didn't think that if I saw that, I would say that Zeus is the most probable pick, and I
Yeah.
don't really know after that.
You're absolutely right. And why didn't he go for Zeus? Because Zeus versus Hades on Ghost Lake is amazing too. Reason being, you can bolt the early Catascopos, and then you get 30 goats for yourself. And your opponent
Yeah.
gets nothing. And then, yeah, Zeus versus Loki on Ghost League. I would much prefer that over playing Kronos versus Loki here as well. Zeus versus Ra, definitely doable as well. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. Now that you mention it, Zeus, I would much, much prefer over Kronos here.
Hmm. Well, again, part of we're about 30 seconds out, looks like everybody, before we jump into game three. But part of especially when you're up at this level, there's a god draft, a map draft, etc. Your RTS and AOM skill is important to develop, but one other skill that you need to develop is the mind game, right? The strategic mind games. If I pick this, he picks that. If he picks that, I pick this. Da, 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 da. And so maybe he's going for some kind of like surprise Chronos pick to try and throw Rapple off of his game. I don't know. There's like that little complication on top of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Game not quite starting yet. We'll see. Could be that. Here we go.
Here we go, folks. Here we go, here we go, here we go. We're starting off with 5 goats, and in the blue, Rapple on the right side of the map. We see 4 Aurochs, very nice, which he is able to lure into his base. Yeah, Rapple in the blue playing Loki. We see that Berserker headed out on the ice. Is she not wearing shoes? Is he not wearing shoes? Man, I think it's a little bit chilly out there. Eh?
Who knows?
Yeesh.
Ulysses
Who
actually
knows?
deciding Ulysses deciding against just sending all 3 oracles out into the ice. That's how I would usually play. Atlantean here is just, yeah, 1 oracle in the middle and then 2 other to the slide to the side because there's so many goats located here in the ice. And it looks like
Yeah.
Rebel knows as he went out and he's already got himself like 5 or 7 goats or so, hasn't he?
Yeah, man. And also that Vodka just showed he missed Ulysses in the red, he missed those 3. Yeah, bam, all those goats right there. There's 5 goats right there, man. There's so many. So
There's 2
nice job
there.
by Rapple. Yeah,
Maybe this comes
absolutely.
maybe this comes a bit down to the fact, like I mentioned, Ghost Lake is not in the ranked ladder map pool, so Ulysses doesn't have that much experience on this particular map. He doesn't maybe he doesn't quite know about the goat spawns, so he's just scouting kind of one to the left, one to the right, one to the center. Right, this is what you do when you play Atlantean, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of standard scouting, I suppose you
Yeah,
could say.
I think that's a mistake for Ghost Lake. Rebel actually, he's doing a weird build here. It's just 1 ox cart so far with Loki. I don't know what he's aiming for, if there's anything funky going on here, but the reason I say with Loki, obviously, is because Ox cards have half price when you're playing Loki. So what I like to do when I'm playing Loki is just get them as soon as possible. You may as well, right? Unless
Mm,
you're going for some kind of wacky build order. So I'm interested in seeing if Rebel actually does something spectacular here.
mm. Well, real quick, Soup. We have 4 as we see more goats getting collected here. Those 3 goats, man, in that top left of the screen right now. Those
They're
things
just
are
chilling.
still so elusive. They're
I
they're
think he
sneaky little
managed to
boys.
just not scout them with that guy. He sees one now. If he
Goat
looks at
scouting
least.
for the win.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, okay, yeah, I want to look at resources real quick, Soup. If you've looked at the mini map in the base, boom, double starting gold mine. So again, that is nice-ish for Rapple to try and survive against some Chronos, some early crush aggression.
Yeah,
But those
but
gold mines are kind of
Ulysses,
close.
I would expect a 330 at least here from Ulysses. Maybe even that 3 minute and 5 seconds build order that you see from YouTube, if you go to my YouTube channel. But he's going for a 4 minute advance instead. And Rebel should be. He's actually advancing quite late. I don't know. It's going to be 3:45 for Rebel. He should be able to defend himself very well here.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, by the way, everybody, youtube.com/huskzupa for all your fresh and, sexy build orders, right? Right.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, double gold mine inside your base, really nice. There are hunt options outside of the base, but they're all just classic for Ghost Lake. Hunt options are all there. We finally got the goats. Opa! All right.
Dude, Maiden, I gotta stop you. Look at Ulysses. He's got 4 gold miners. What is this about? Is he going for 2 TC boom? It has to be.
Ah. And
It
he's
has to
not
be a
time
2
shifting
TC
his
boom.
temple. He's not time
Yeah,
shifting his temple.
yeah, and he's still got 3. Like another option for him could be to go for Oracle spam, but no, it has to be a 2 TC boom here. So what he's looking for is to time shift that initial mana over to the second TC and probably build a second mana too and get that one over there too. Barely managing to keep that Oracle alive there. And Rebel, has he used Spy yet? That's going to be interesting to see. He's used it now. Wait, is that even a second TC?
Yeah,
Ulysses
he's
isn't
going
getting
for,
the
what
second
is that, a counter
A
barracks?
village
A
center.
villager center, really?
Where's the spy?
Cool.
And the spied unit is on the gold mine, so I don't think Rebel even realizes this.
Oh, that is so
Wait,
cool.
unless he sees the brickstone. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
he doesn't necessarily know what that is, right?
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
just a
true.
building.
What a play here from Ulysses. What a play. I kind of like it.
I don't know if it's gonna work per se, but it's fun, right? Something fresh. It's something different, eh?
Yeah. And that's the thing about village centers where you kind of know who your opponent is, you know the meta, you know what your opponent's playstyle is like, what their gods usually do on this map, so on and so forth. The village center can really break up these kinds of mind games that you're having. And
Yeah.
Ulysses is applying that here.
Well, the village center does mean, as we can see right here, does mean Rappel is not threatened right now. He doesn't see the village center just yet, but he will here in
See
just
it
a minute with
now.
these herds here. But he
Fine.
feels comfortable enough to go outside and take that exposed hunt, right?
Oh yeah, that's
There we
true
go.
actually. But that also just comes down to the fact that Loki is so good against the early Kronos army. The big
Yeah.
threat of Kronos obviously being the double Prometheans, which could be even more if he decides. But then Loki just builds a bunch of hearses, as you see here. Doesn't have to respect Kronos very much early on, and yeah, interesting to see what Rebel does now. He's seen the village center, so uh, yeah, we don't know what he's gonna do. So far, just building hearses and seeing if you can find some value around the map, getting some nice poke onto this tower. Certainly good value here.
Yeah. It's queuing up those myth unit spawns, right? Which is definitely threatening as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that works actually for buildings. I know that he accumulates favor against towers or town centers or fortresses when he attacks them, but I'm not
Oh,
sure
that's
if it
true.
works on the myth unit spawn accumulation.
That's a good point. Well, tower's down, so ultimately, at the very least, the one little complication here for Ulysses, since we're looking at his base, is that yes, there's two gold mines. Yes, that back gold mine is ultra safe with the TC and the VC behind it as well. It's super safe, but that forward gold mine eventually, as time goes on, that's maybe a game-ending situation right there for Rappel. We've seen tons of times Loki with the flaming weapons push. There's the armory, Loki
Oh
with the
yeah,
flaming weapons push, just being
that
so
smells like flaming
brutal.
weapons, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I
And you
can
see
I can
that he's
smell the
transferring
flames.
wood choppers over to herdables.
Mm.
Dude, could even be, how about that? How about a fast Njord?
Oh,
Because that village
okay.
center, can we click it? I think it's like 1200 HP. So it'll go down. Yeah, this thing goes down in seconds against the mountain giant and the walking woods. So the early Njord can definitely find some really good value here.
That would be
Also have,
fun, man.
dude, I have to comment. Look at the upgrade over on Ulysses' side. He's getting Theft of Fire. How often do you see that?
I don't know. You tell me. How often do you see that? We see
Uh,
it, don't we?
we see
I've
it
seen
now.
it. We see it
And
now.
so what Ulysses wants to do now is he wants to use Valor on citizens. And just not only does he get that village center, he's also going to boost his economy by getting hero citizens with that Theft of Fire, making them about, is it 33% more effective than usual? Either way, it's going to boost his, so it's going to be plus 20% from the Theft of Fire, and then plus 10% from just being a hero.
Hmm.
So yeah, if he uses, what you can kind of say is, if you use Valor on 3 citizens, that's like getting 1 additional citizen out.
Very nice. Excellent math skills there, buddy.
Why, thank you.
Anyways, I like. Oh yeah, yeah. Stay in school, kids. Anyway, I like what Rappel's doing. There's not a lot of value he can or damage he can do in the base of Ulysses right now because he's so condensed and everything. Back in that little compact base. So just going around picking off those animals, getting a teensy bit of favor generation. We also see, by the way, we see Broggy almost all the way in. So no
Yeah.
Njord, unfortunately,
And so
and
no
Hyperion
walking
as well.
woods. No walking woods, sad face. I think it could have been
Oh.
super effective here. And if Boyd was here, he would say, hey, why don't you convert 20 villagers to berserks while you're at it?
Well, Hyperion actually is a pretty decent counter to flaming weapons because if you can
Yeah.
chaos a flaming weapons army and they just flame each other, that's dangerous, man. Super dangerous. It's also
Yeah.
dangerous to get kicked off of a gold mine soup.
Yeah, and that's, yeah, there's no more gold left on the back gold mine, so Ulysses has to figure something out. Is that its talent he was trying to get up there? With one?
No, he's not a he's not
Oh
a
no, okay, yeah,
corrupt just
it's
yet.
just the counter barracks or something then.
Yeah.
Full hearses in from Rebel. It's an interesting
hearses.
choice. And I think it's... Oh, the sages are going to be huge here. They're very good against Smith units. Even though they're hard countered by the hearsers, if they stay nice and safe here behind buildings and stuff, they can take down... You saw how easily they took down the troll there. They can do that to
Yeah.
battle boars.
Well, look, like in that little pocket, like that's the thing. You can keep them safe by just putting them back in a little pocket, right?
Yeah.
You have all the melee units to surround him and protect him, so they can maybe snipe some Battlebores here and there. Plus, check out that tower, that defensive tower for Yuli on the backside of his TC. He knows what's coming. He's prepping for it, man. He's prepping. He's a prepper. Confirmed. Ulysses is a prepper.
Revel kind of Revel has to know that it's all about this gold mine now. It has to be, but still, he's going for the raid up here. Wait, there is more gold here. I thought it was depleted by now, but it's not. Ulysses still
That's
got
like
gold here.
there's probably like 1,000 gold left in that mine. Can you click that, vodka?
Wow.
Woo!
Okay.
Oh, that's
I
a
thought
lot.
Ulysses was in more trouble than he is. This is actually looking really good for Ulysses. He's getting heavy infantry, medium archers. He's going to go for Murmillos, Orcus, which are both soft counters to the Hersers. And the only big issue when Ulysses has accumulated enough of an army will be the myth unit spawns. So interesting to see how he prepares for that. He could potentially start making a lot of hero Arcus, like we saw Recon doing to really great effect earlier today.
Is it enough? If you look at the resources of RAPL, he's investing everything into army. Everything into army.
Yeah.
We have no mythic coming in. It's all or nothing with this flaming weapon. So if you look at the economy, how far ahead Ulysses is with the eco in the villager center, it's all about that gold mine right there is the game.
It is. And wow, we need to make bets happen in chat now. How many Mythian spawns are we going to see once the flaming weapons hits? Because it's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be so many myth unit spawns, and like Ulysses, he's gotta be shaking in his pants now. How do you deal with that? The satyrs are really nice, but you gotta have heroes prepared, and I would say Hero Arcus in a nice little pocket, like you mentioned earlier.
Well, here's the thing, like remember, there's 2 gold mines. So on Ulysses' base, we've been looking at that forward gold mine, and he was, for the most part, he was he was mining from it for the majority, from a lot of the game. No flaming weapons just yet, but oh boy, RAPL's thinking about
the pocket,
it.
though. The pocket is there.
There's the pocket, and the snipers. We got the snipers in the back pocket for Ulysses. How about the Pierce armor? Do we have? Let's check the armory upgrades of those Hersu real quick if we get a chance. Boom.
That's the one.
Only copper shields.
Would really like to see a second one. Keep in mind those armory upgrades are 50% more effective on heroes. So while I did mention earlier today that you should usually prioritize line upgrades, needless to say, when you have heroes, they don't even benefit from line upgrades. But more than that, they gain 50% more from armory upgrades. So really good for the Hearses here. Can we see this flaming weapons or what?
Dude, it's like, here come the Battlebores. The Battlebores can maybe mix things up because they have that bug special attack. And so they can maybe disrupt a front line and maybe get to the snipers. But those snipers are just sniping like crazy. Where is the flaming weapon soup?
No, he can't do it. He knows that if he does, it's going to be a chaos. And while Rebel is just not, he doesn't know what to do. Like, he wants to fight here, but the pocket, like you mentioned 5 minutes ago, it's there. Ulysses has prepared super well for it, and the Arcus are just in place, and it's making it impossible for Rebel. He desperately wants to take that fight, but he knows that if he commits, there's no way he's going to be able to hit those Arcus.
Bronze Shields is finally coming in for RAPL. He's trying to find an opening, a window of opportunity.
It's gotta be it now.
He's
kind of messing up here. He's way outside of his comfort zone.
Rock Giant gets spawned! Are you kidding me? Ulysses may be caught out. Has RAPL found an opportunity here? There's the chaos.
Oh my god, now flaming weapons is in. Surely flaming weapons is in now.
He's gotta use it. There it is. He's gotta use it. A couple of Battlebores are down. Another giant gets spawned. But look at the army of RAPL. Okay, there it is. It was kind of hiding behind the manor. Oh my goodness! Look at the carnage. Look at Ulysses' army numbers, his citizen numbers. He's getting thrashed with flaming hammers, baby. Oh my goodness gracious. He was handling that so well, and then he got caught out, man. Holy smokes.
Is this like there are 3 frost giants now for Loki out on the field? There's a rock giant. Like how?
Battlebores.
How do you deal with this? It's Kronos. You can't even make heroes because it takes 4 seconds before they
Mountain Giant.
Mountain Giant. Wow.
Oh man. Dude, are you kidding me?
This looked bleak for Rebel. This looked so bleak. It looked like he had no clue how to approach this. But then all of a sudden, 1 second of, blunder from Ulysses and Rebel just initiates a perfect fight.
Oh my god, dude. Patience is a virtue, folks. Patience is a virtue. Rappa was patient, Rappa was patient, Rappa was patient. Ulysses got a little overconfident, possibly, and he got caught out hard. Wow.
It really
That
did.
is a well, that's a quintessential Loki matchup, right? With the flaming weapons finish, the big chaotic, 30, 50 seconds and into the GG. Holy smokes. Myth units
Yeah.
all over the place.
Look at this
Oh,
graph. This is super interesting, actually, because we were talking like Ulysses was way ahead, and he was.
yes.
It definitely felt like it. But you look at the total military resource value, Rebel was way ahead. Way
Yeah.
ahead. Even while he was losing, he was still way ahead. So dude, it was all about finding the proper engagement, and that cost Rebel. Oh my God, the resource collected graph.
Wow.
This
Wow.
is what happens when one player booms hard and another just builds military hard. It all comes down to one big fight.
Well, yeah, but again, I want to check the military tab here in just a second. Let's look at that KD for our Loki player. Not as crazy as I thought it was going to be. In all fairness, we mainly just had that one big engagement, and Rappel got such a crazy amount of kills right there, 74 to 42. But that's the thing. Ulysses was handling it so well, Sue. He was handling it so well until the very end.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened. How he even managed to get his units outside of that pocket that we kept we kept praising him for it,
Oh,
for placing those
yes.
archers exactly where they're supposed to be. But then somehow they end completely outside of their of where they're supposed to be. And then all of this happens, and the rock giant spawn, the frost giant
Yes.
spawn,
Yes.
another frost giant, the mountain giant. It's just too much.
But plus the battle boars behind him, so he had no retreat. You see the battle boars just get
Oh my
stuck,
God.
or rather they
Yeah.
stick the citizens and all the Arcus and everything. This point is where everything just got completely deleted. Oh my goodness, man. I can't believe that.
You gotta
I
love
can't
Loki,
believe that.
don't you? You gotta love Loki.
It's entertaining, love him or hate him at the very least, as an observer, as a spectator. It's entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, I
Whew.
think for those 30, 60 seconds, Ulysses didn't quite like Loki, but it is exciting to see when it works.
Yo, if you are a Ulysses fan, you're hurting because he was playing that. Dude, I can't believe how well he was playing that. He was getting his upgrades. He was creating pockets. He was not taking losses. He was sniping Hersier. He was delaying the flaming weapons. He was, saving his gold mine situation. He was, had a nice heroic time. He was playing that so well
He was.
until the very end.
Dude,
It all went down the drain.
everything was perfect from Ulysses, and I don't think Rebel expected that village center ever. And even when he scouted it, it didn't seem like he really knew what to do, because this was a two gold mine ghost lake, and honestly, the strategy that Rebel went for here, a bit quote unquote brain dead strategy. Like it's not. He just building hersers and battle boars and using flaming weapons, but in the end managed to work.
I agree. Rappel, he did do the brain dead strategy there, but he had this back corner of his brain turned on. The brain dead would have been just bashing his head with flaming weapons into the gold mine and just dying, right?
Yeah,
Dying to Ulysses' pocket. But he had this little corner of his brain turned on, and being patient and everything. Anyways, that was an exciting, really impressive and exciting game. The entertainment value at the end, but then the really well handled defense by Ulysses, really exciting.
yeah.
Let's jump into this next game. However, we still have a minute or so before it actually starts. But next up, we have more Norse action. Freyr coming in, or as you like to say, Frey with your Danish pronunciation.
No,
Frey against
I say
Hades.
Frey like an Englishman would say Frey.
What do you mean, like an Englishman? There's an R on the end. I speak English. Freyr,
So
right?
I always say, if we're being real, like
Let's be
Heimdall,
real.
Heimdall, you're supposed to say Heimdaller. if it's like in Old Norse or Icelandic or whatever. But
Yeah.
in Age of Mythology, there's just Heimdall. There's no R in the end. But so for some reason with Frey, there's an R in the end. I don't know. I say it's inconsistent, and I just say we're doing it just the anglicized way, which is to say Frey.
It is not anglicized. There is an R there. Okay. If you, and in fact, if you look at the Heimdall, there's no R on the end, so you just call it Heimdall. So I'm pronouncing the Freyr, especially to distinguish from Freya. So we got Freya and Freyr. I'm going for the hard R.
Mm. Well,
Alrighty then.
yeah. My point is, sometimes you do actually spell Frey without an R in the end. Likewise with Heimdall, sometimes without an R, but both can also have an R in the end. So,
Linguistics, folks. Linguistics. I'm enjoying this conversation, but I think players or the viewers want to enjoy the gameplay, which is it queued up? Are we ready to go? Freyr against Adis. Let's go, Soup. Alrighty, everybody. Hades for Rapple, blue player, right-hand corner of the map, starting with some, what is that, 6 zebras in the backside of his base. Again, playing Hades over on the left-hand side. Woohoo, we got, giraffes we just saw. But on the red-hand side of the map, we have Ulysses playing Freyr. Right, Soup?
dude, we see another Hades and we see another non-Balls of Erebus start. I really wonder why. I mean, maybe it's because Rebel already now knows he's going for a 2 TC strategy versus Freyr, I guess. But in that case, it makes sense to not go for the Walls of Erebus immediately. It's probably Rebel's going 4 food, 2 gold, 2 wood. This does smell like a 2 TC strategy.
And is he gonna okay, it smells like that, and it could smell delicious because of all that giraffe meat up there, but the giraffe meat is a little bit exposed. Eventually we're gonna, that giraffe meat is a little bit exposed up there. It's not like Freyr is the most aggressive classical god there is. So I think a 2 TC into, plus he has sentinels potentially, but a second town center up there and then eventually grabbing the giraffes right after that. I think that could be sick for Hades, for Rapple.
Yeah, and what's nice about it is that, you can do your 2 TC boom, but while you're doing it, you can get your 2 heroes out, you can have your Minotaur out, and those 3 units, just those 3, are enough to stop the Asgardian Bastion from Uller or the town center going up as well from Ulysses. So a Rebel, he can do his boom, but he can also prevent the Asgardian Bastion or the town center from Ulysses from going up meanwhile. So I like it a lot.
At least like the quick Asgardian Bastion and quick town center.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Eventually he'll get it up.
If Ulysses decides to make a small army behind it and so on, he'll definitely get it up wherever he wants to.
Indeed. Ulysses, eventually he'll get it up. I always say. Anyway, strategically speaking, on paper, who do you like better? Ooh, Black Lotus. That's really nice. That's real nice.
Good Oasis relic for sure.
Oh yeah.
Adamantine shingles, not the best. Karen's Obel, once again, not the best. These kinds of relics I like to just pick up, but they're not great. This one is good. Favor Triggle, especially for a Norse player who struggle to make favor out of nothing. It's really nice to have that Favor Triggle.
For sure. Well, so on paper, who do you prefer on Oasis? Do you like Freyr or do you like Hades?
It's hard
Setting
to
aside
say.
the map and everything, just hypothetically, who do you think has the advantage here?
It's hard to say. I think I prefer Hades, but Frey is such an unexplored god. Even still, like it's more than a few months now since Retold was released, but I still feel like Frey is not completely explored. There's so much to him that we just don't see because people don't pick him up in ranked, and we see him a lot in tournaments actually. But I don't know. I will say I prefer Hades because Toxotes are, if you get enough of them, you cannot really counter them as Norse.
Yeah. Although having said that, technically Huskarls they're supposed to counter archers, but and I mean you mentioned the Asgardian Bastion. Freyr is going Freya, so we're not going to have that early hill fort, the early Asgardian hill fort.
Yeah, very
so
interesting
no Huskarls.
choice. Very interesting choice, and it's an Oasis map, so having that extra mobility from the Thundering Hooves makes a lot of sense as well. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's true, especially since, the map is pretty open, even though there's the Oasis right in the middle. There's Vaults of Erebus coming in.
Yep.
Even with the Oasis in the middle, aside from that big blob of wood. Um, oh, by the way, no second town center right away, Soup. So you and I completely wrong here.
Dude,
Stables.
this comes down to Rebel not playing around too much with Hades build orders. Like
Mm,
there's no, I see no reason why you don't just go Balls of Erebus early on
mm.
instead of like waiting 4 minutes with it. I don't think that's optimal. But it's okay, Rebel. You do this. You're going aggressive with the
You do
Minotaur
you,
now.
Raffle. You do you, Raffle.
What is he doing? Is he getting stables or is he getting yeah, it's one stable. Maybe he's
God, what
doing one
is?
stable into like semi-fast second TC. I've seen Hades player do
Oh,
that sometimes.
hmm. That
Would-
seems weird. It just gives the Norse player time to build up some army and complicate that, situation.
I think the idea is you secure map control and then having map control, you then start your boom instead of giving up map control from the
Hmm.
get-go.
Hmm. Yeah, I see. Potentially. Okay.
I would love to see a Pegasus here from Rebel just so he knew what was going on around the map.
Hmm.
Nice forest fire here. It's not
You
going to be a
think that's a
villager.
nice forest fire? You really think that's a nice forest fire?
I think Forest Fire is a very, very, very weak god power, but using it here to force Rebel to invest 50 more wood into a new storehouse and forcing the villagers to go from one spot to another, that's about the best you can get from this god power.
Oh, don't even. You can find. There are ways. There are ways. Soup. There are ways. I
I
think
mean,
that was a waste.
sometimes you get lucky, but I find often if I save Forest Fire and I wait for that epic montage moment, it just doesn't
Mm.
come, and then I feel like an idiot.
Well,
Having
you
Forest
gotta.
Fire there and not using it.
You gotta make it. You gotta make it
I
happen.
guess. I guess. We see heavy cavalry and the Valkyrie running around the map now. We see Herdman protecting the hunt spot. Actually, a good call with the Herdman. He must have scouted that stable early on or something.
Indeed, a little skirmish here. This is big. If Ulysses loses this, which I don't think he will, that's right on the front part of his hunt. I think he's going to be just fine with these, with the hearse here on the restoration. Is that going to give him this fight soup?
I don't know. It's gonna equalize this fight. Nothing more than that. This is a really good defense from Rebel. The good part for Ulysses here is this Herser is about to die, and then maybe this Minotaur can go to town, but not even that is occurring either. It's a big win for Rebel. Really, really nice defense. Wait, good defense from Ulysses.
Yeah, Ulysses is the Freyr player here. He's got a nice dude. That one stable. I don't believe in this one stable play. I think it's completely nuts. Um, on there's Ajax going down. Ulysses is not going for town center, not going for the hill fort. He's just kind of playing this a little bit more. I don't want to say standard, but a little bit more
Reactively,
standard aggressive play.
he scouted the early stables, and then he was there with the herd. The early herdmen were so vital here, and it's such an unorthodox play as Norse to have herdmen there this early. But yeah, he must have scouted it and reacted perfectly, and it caught Rebel off guard, I'm sure.
Well, indeed. Look at that reaction, man. He is doing a drastic shift
Yeah,
into hoplites and togs. Holy smoke.
yeah. Yeah, and the good part is he hasn't invested into any hideous upgrades, so he can definitely afford it. Except, yeah, now he spent 500 resources on these production buildings, which is a lot for a Greek player.
Well, plus all of the resources, plus the time. Like he spent the time making wasted, some would say, wasting it. A little catch here, a little catch there. Flying horse. Okay. Anyways, Rapple kind of wasted a little bit of time. He allowed Ulysses to eat all the giraffes, to get all of the army going, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now you see a bunch of upgrades coming in on the Freyr side of things.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
I mean, it's just he's one step behind, or two or three steps behind Ulysses at this point in time, is he not?
Yeah, and I love this. What is it called? The Herser upgrade? Is it called Sesrumnir? Yes, which only costs 100 resources free. Here's a big fight occurring. A lot of military numbers for the Frey player. There's a
And no
Minotaur there.
restoration soup.
No restoration, but there's a Herser
No
killing the Minotaur. Really well, Michael, from Ulysses. Rebel not managing to pull it back either, and I think the Norse player will come out victorious here. There's a Valkyrie going to town with no heroes on it.
Yeah, and there's Achilles finally jumping on the Valkyrie, but still Achilles is just about dead. It looks like the spam, by all means, these Greek heroes are freaking strong, but at the same, man, this fight went a lot better for Rapple than I thought it would. He still loses the fight and has to retreat, but that went a lot better than I thought it would, honestly. I thought he was getting completely smoked.
Yeah,
Maybe he is completely smoked, but still.
Is there even medium infantry in for the Norse player? I think Ulysses kind of forgot about that. No, there's not. Yeah, he's not even researching it.
Yeah.
But it's still fine. He's still winning really hard here.
Indeed. And actually,
see-
Soup, look at the time. Look, villagers coming out, Thundering Hooves coming in for Ulysses. Villagers headed out to do who knows what down there, and we're 10 minutes into the game. Now, the mobility and the openness, the open map, which favors Norse, that starts to play a big difference.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, the only issue is Ulysses has absolutely no clue that Rebel is making a bit of a greedy play here, some people would say. I like to do the kind of play that Rebel does here, but other people would say it's greedy. But yeah, if Ulysses notices somehow, it's devastating for Rebel.
Well, not only the food play down on the bottom side, but at the very least, just gold control. You know, look at the gold mine that Rapple has on the front side of his base. It is kind of tucked between tree lines, but still.
This is Hades, though, with Vaults of Erebus, and this means that it's gonna take usually like 2, 3, even 4 minutes later before the Hades player has to go for that second gold mine. And in the Hades versus Norse matchup, this is probably the biggest advantage that Hades has to his name, is how delayed that second gold mine is going to be for him.
It's actually a good point. Very good point. It's 11 minutes in. Usually players would be pushing out for a gold mine right now, but you're right. He doesn't have to just yet. And he's still alive, man. He's still alive. Minotaurs and Talks, man. If you're playing Norse, that's scary. That even without restoration, that army composition, oh boy, can that swing a fight in favor of Greeks really quickly.
There is 54 favor available for Ulysses, so he can spam Valkyries out, and he is already now adding a Valkyrie more. I think he's already got 2 or 3 out, so those are actually a very good counter to the Minotaurs, and now the gold mine is depleted.
And he sees it. RC
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of damage, but
He sees it, so he knows. Press the advantage. Probably a good call here.
What? Okay, but hang on, Soup. Is the play here for Ulysses to go ultra aggressive and try and end the game in classical? Does he back off and go heroic? What's the play here?
It's looking like the play is to go ultra aggressive, although I'm not
He's
sure if I
going
like it.
for it.
I'm not sure if I like it. This fight, the Achilles is perfectly positioned against the Valkyries, although they, in turn, are taking down the Minotaur, which is exactly what Ulysses wants here.
Indeed! Imagine forest fire, Soup! Imagine forest fire! There's not a lot of trees, but he should have saved it! And look, the Talks! What a swing! Dude, what a swing! Look at the Talks! The little ball of Talks, man! The little bazookas in their little pocket, the Hades pocket, and boom! Is that a throw? Dude, straight up, is that a throw? Not a throw of the game per se, but is that a throw?
Yeah, it wasn't a good fight, and it looked so chaotic from Ulysses from the get-go because his army wasn't positioned nearly as well as you wanted to. And then, like I said, these Toxotes, Norse doesn't really have a counter to them. When you manage to put them into a forest like this, you don't have a counter to them because only 3, 4 horses can hit them at once, and it's just not enough to deal with them.
Yes. Dude, imagine. Now, by all means, it was only a small wood line right there, so Forest Fire would not have been super impactful, but it would have forced a reaction from Rapple to move his archers. They would have been more exposed, maybe a little bit damaged, blah, 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 blah. I think Forest Fire absolutely would have changed that fight. 5 Shieldmate Valkyries, good call on that. That's 6, actually, 6th one coming in. 7 even.
That's gonna be great. That's gonna be really good. And Ajax and Achilles are super low here. I think Rebel messed up here. Those 2 heroes are gonna die in no time. And then 7 Valkyries with Thundering Hooves and Disablood up. Whoa, is that fighting it? Huh.
Yo. Look. He's at Rappel. Okay, Rappel's at 53, 54 favor. He's close. He's inching closer to getting a restoration. Has he pushed too far though? Has Rappel pushed too far? If he gets caught out here, like I said, the open spaces are so much better for the Norse, and the Valkyries are in, dude. Where are the heroes?
They're dead. They're dead, and Rebel isn't even rebuilding them just yet because he doesn't have the food for it. There's 7. Wait, Ajax is still there. Sorry.
Is he hiding in there?
The Hades army is still managing to actually push back here.
How is he still alive, dude? With 7 Valkyries, how is Rappel still alive? Hacks, man, hacks. Are you kidding me? Those
These
talks
houses,
are
by
hacks.
the way, I mentioned earlier in the game that the adamantine shingles is a useless relic, but you see how much Rebel is struggling to take down these houses.
Did he get the relic? I didn't see him pick up
Yeah,
the
he
relic.
must have, because these houses seems like they just don't go down.
Did he get him? He got him! The sneaky relics, man, they have hidden little, value that you don't really pay attention to. The golden lions, the stronger houses, it can win you a game, man.
Dude, Rebel, how did he do this? 2 heroes with 10 HP versus 7 fully upgraded Valkyries, somehow managing to come out on top.
Yeah. And it is a healthy, if I'm not mistaken, that's a healthy Achilles right there.
Yeah,
That's a healthy Achilles.
Very
Ajax
healthy.
is almost dead. Where is the army of Red, man? Where is the army of Ulysses? He was trying to sneak a town center. A little bit too cocky, in my opinion. And, this Hades army is freaking scary. 76, 77 favor for Rappel as well. We're going to have another restoration here, buddy.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be so devastating. Rebel is utilizing Ulysses buildings to keep his Toxotes safe, opening up the possibilities to potentially delete them, and then the Toxotes will be exposed. We'll see if something like that occurs. Oh, Golden Burst has been used, but very slow at this stage.
Is the Chonkers trying to hit the battlefield, but he's gonna barely get there. There's a restoration. Look at the army of Ulysses or Rappel. The army of Rappel is like double, dude. Look at the numbers up top, 115 to 51. Are you kidding me? Golden Bursty is a G, but still he's just so slow since he's so far away.
And both heroes, after that restoration, full HP, almost full HP for Ajax, but either way, Rebel can look how well he's keeping his Toxotes alive here. And then the only issue is those Valkyries. Golden Burst is dead now. Ulysses forced to retreat, and this is going to be very, very, very rough for Ulysses to come back from.
Dude, was that not another perfect potential usage of Forest Fire? Are you kidding me?
Okay. Okay. I guess that's a
I'm
good
gonna
use.
hammer that thing home, dude. Save your Forest Fire, folks. Don't just use it.
Save Forest Fire for situations like that. Rebel takes it home.
Ulysses throws that game with a wasted Forest Fire and a bad fight, a bad initial fight on that second gold mine. Look at that military timeline up and down. We got a roller coaster of a game. Holy smokes.
It's the 12-minute mark. That's the big one. Look at that. The 12-minute mark, like half of Ulysses' army lost there. And Rebel honestly barely lost anything. And then it's just a big downtrend for Ulysses after that.
Dude, he just kept taking bad fight, Ulysses, bad fight after bad fight after bad fight. He was looking like he was in such a commanding position. The late transition into Hoplites and Talks by Rappel, you would think that would have been a mistake. He was just minutes and minutes behind in his military production. But honestly, it just didn't matter because Ulysses threw it against the archers, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so hard playing Norse versus Hades in particular with those archers. They're so strong. And it can be so hard to assess when can I actually win this fight because there are shades there too. There are heroes. You never know how good your counter units are actually faring because you don't know if they're hitting the right targets and stuff. So good on Rebel for positioning his Toxotes right, and yeah.
100%. Could we see? Have we looked at the military tab just yet? I want to see what that villager numbers, eco numbers, not super different, but the units killed. Not a big discrepancy in that KD ratio, but Rappel clearly, with that. Actually, it's about a 40 villager, or sorry, not villager, 40 unit killed advantage, KD advantage there. I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's very significant actually. So
Wow.
59 hoplites on the side for Rebel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, how did he end up with that? Actually, that YOLO play of sending all of those villagers down to that bottom corner, all of the action was happening up top. And so when he snuck all those vills down there to take the monkeys and the berries, it seemed like that. It seemed like that really saved his. It just saved the day, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And especially because Ulysses committed so much to that second gold mine. Here is after the fact. This no wait, this is in the beginning. Which fight was this?
This
The
was the first
first
fight,
the first big fight and
first big one. That
the
was I
minute.
mean, this is the one let's see, is this Restoration was already used. This was the one where it looked so good for Ulysses, but, somehow Rapples, those strong Greek units, man, they just killed way more than they probably should have. Honestly, it was a lot better fight than I definitely expected. Ultimately, Ulysses won the fight, but it was much better for Rapple than I personally really expected.
Yeah, and this is going to be the vital fight where you see
Oh
Rebel, like
yeah.
you said, he's really gritted down the bottom, but
Mm,
Ulysses focusing so intensely on the secondary gold mine. And look at the spread of Ulysses' army in particular. Seems like only
yes.
half his army is fighting here. Yeah, so
This
many
is
RC
insane.
or idle up in the top here, and he doesn't
Well,
manage to put them onto the archers in the back.
look at the numbers, dude. The numbers advantage for Ulysses in the red.
Yeah.
They just get smoked, man. There's even a sentinel even attacking a little bit. Some of the RC are hitting villagers and whatnot, so everything wasn't even completely. Here's another fight, man. Just bad fight after bad fight. This is the one with the 7 frickin' Valkyries, and somehow Achilles and Ajax are holding on to life. Ajax goes down right
I
there,
think in this
or
particular
Achilles.
fight, we had the observer advantage of seeing the fact that Rebel's heroes were so low. If
Yeah,
Ulysses knew this, which obviously he didn't because he doesn't have observer like we do, if he
yeah.
knew this, he could have just focused down the heroes immediately and then taken home the fight. But in all the chaos surrounding the fight, he didn't realize just how low these heroes were and wasn't able to take advantage of it.
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. He just kept losing fight. He was in such a good position, but just fight after fight after fight after fight. He just kept losing one at a time. There's our big beautiful boy, trying to chase after the army, but it's just not enough, man. It's not enough. I think that you remember when I asked you before all the chaos ensued, I asked you, what's the play? Go hard for the gold mine or wait for heroic? And you said, looks like it looks like the decision is made. There's our second restoration.
Yeah.
um, Ulysses chose to go for the classical age gold starve instead of trying to use the what's it called? Use the heroic age power spike. It seems like hindsight is 2020. It looks like maybe going for the heroic age was the way to go, but it is what it
Well,
is.
advantage.
Rapple takes a series.